This video was inspired by Professor Adam Rutherford, London, England. Leftist activists, especially social justice warriors, frequently accuse those on the right of racism. Anyone who objects to the left's agenda is immediately accused of being a racist. Or, as one East Coast radio jock in the 1990s would sarcastically drawl, racism. The left throws out the racist label at traditional conservatives. They accuse libertarians of being heartless racists who want to deny certain people benefits. Even middle-of-the-road moderate conservatives are labeled with the dreaded R word. This video aims to give conservatives and libertarians quick and easy facts to challenge leftists on race-related topics. Let's get started. FST Fixation Index. In online debates, leftists often lead with the cliché line, race is a social construct. It's a neat little phrase they picked up in their freshman biology class from their Marxist professors. This is inevitably followed by their other line they learned in freshman biology, which is, there's more genetic variation within races than between them. This concept comes from a formula called the FST, Fixation Index. The FST forms the basis for much of human evolution lessons in college textbooks. The FST was conceived in 1972 by a self-proclaimed Marxist. Richard Lewington was a professor of biology at Harvard University in Boston. The FST is used to measure genetic similarities and variances among species and subspecies. It is used for the entire animal kingdom, though there appears to be a different set of rules for humans. In the FST, 0 indicates identical genetics and 1 indicates significant variance. For example, left jar would have an FST of 0.5, the right jar would be an FST of 0.9. It should be noted that Africans have nearly 2 times the diversity in their gene pool than Europeans or Asians. Lewington specifically used the figure of 99.5% similarity among all humans. This is a key point, for over the years, biased media, scientists, and academics have inflated the figure up to 99.9% without any factual basis. And, as you might guess, it is the 99.9% figure you hear repeated most often. Humans and chimpanzees diverged 7 million years ago. We share, by some estimates, 98.7%, by other estimates, 98.8% similar DNA. There are 4 subspecies of chimpanzees: Eastern, Congo, Nigeria, and Western. Humans are 99.5% identical. We share 98.8% of our DNA with our chimpanzee cousins. But the morphological differences between us are quite apparent. Morphological differences among humans are not nearly as dramatic as between us and the chimpanzees. However, with only 99.5% similarity in our genome, we still have quite significant differences. Of course, This is a point that should be emphasized to race realism deniers. Primate subspecies. There are 3, possibly 4, subspecies of orangutans: Borneo, Sumatra, and Tapanuli. There are mountain gorillas and lowland gorillas. There are 4 chimpanzee subspecies: Eastern, Congo, Nigerian, and Western. 8 billion modern humans. Tremendous diversity, but no subspecies? Archaic hominid admixture. The evolutionary science world changed dramatically in 2010 when Svante Pääbo of the Max Planck Institute announced that they had discovered Neanderthal DNA in the Eurasian genome. A year later, Pääbo's lab assistant Johannes Krauss discovered Denisovan DNA in the Asian genome. As a new paper, 2024 outlines, when anatomically modern humans dispersed out of Africa, they encountered and mated with now extinct hominids, including Neanderthals and Denisovans. Continuing, it is now well established that all non-African individuals derive approximately 2% of their genome from Neanderthal ancestors. The percentage of Neanderthal DNA in modern Europeans could actually be as high as 5%. Continuing from the paper, individuals of Melanesian and Australian Aboriginal ancestry inherited an additional 2 to 5% of their genomes from Denisovan ancestors. In 2023, Swedish researchers discovered that an isolated tribe in the Philippines, the Eta Magbukan, had up to 7.8% Denisovan DNA admixture. Sankararaman and Durvasula. In 2019, 2 nerdy genetics researchers at UCLA dropped a bombshell paper that obliterates the race is a social construct narrative. The paper was published at the distinguished journal Science, the peer-reviewed academic journal of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, founded in 1880. Professor Sriram Sankararaman and PhD candidate Arun Durvasula identified up to 19% archaic hominid DNA admixture in extant modern Africans. Nobody in paleoanthropology or genetics disputes the veracity of the Sankararaman-Durvasula paper. Both geneticists have impeccable credentials and reputations. Of course, given their ethnicity, Sankararaman and Durvasula are immune to being labeled racists. And finally, the Durvasula Sankararaman paper comes with the UCLA seal of approval. Another geneticist from Arizona had actually reached the same findings as Durvasula and Sankararaman 10 years earlier, but his research efforts were inexplicably shut down. Dr. Michael Hammer of Arizona State University detected signals of archaic hominid DNA admixture in Africans in 2005, approximately 2%. Adeyemo and Wonkum. 2 medical doctors from Nigeria, Professors Wonkum and Adeyemo, with Johns Hopkins University, published a paper in Cell in 2023, leveraging our common African origins. The paper complements the findings of Durvasula and Sankararaman. It also included an astonishing chart showing archaic hominid DNA admixture in Africans after divergence with Eurasians. This chart supports Dr. Hammer's findings of a modern African intergression event with an archaic species around 35,000 years ago, occurring a full 10 to 15,000 years after divergence with Europeans. The two researchers in their paper suggest the archaic admixture in modern Africans is at 15%. The data in their paper serves as full confirmation of separate lineages for Eurasians from the Africans, at least 45,000 years ago. Of course, given the ethnic background of the two doctors, there is little risk of them being labeled as racist. All three of these papers can and should be referenced when battling the race deniers. The links for the papers are at the end of the video. So, which hominid species? The left will go to great lengths to avoid discussing archaic hominid admixture in modern Africans, given the uncomfortable implications of such a discussion. The 19% archaic admixture in modern Africans likely comes from a late Australopithecine or primitive genus Homo, such as Homo ergaster. ChimpanzeeBrains.org. Chimpanzee brains are about 1/3 the size of human brains. Brain size for the Australopithecines is about 550 to 600 cc. That is halfway to that of a chimpanzee. Given the notably small brain size of Australopithecines, implying African admixture with a species from this genus, it is easy to see why such a hypothesis would be highly controversial. As we have chronicled repeatedly on this channel, one likely candidate for African admixture, particularly for West Africans, is Homo ergaster. The species is often mistakenly identified as Homo erectus. Morphological evidence from Jebel or Hood and subsequent genetic evidence from Iwo Elaru man in Cameroon makes a strong case for Homo ergaster. Of note, early genus Homo, such as Homo habilis, could actually be an Australopith. Homo naledi is another example where many scientists have argued that it is actually a late surviving Australopithecine. Additionally, species such as Australopithecus sediba have limited fossil evidence, leaving scientists uncertain about the duration of its survival. Any hint of Africans having direct lineage from apes would send leftist activists into a complete meltdown mode. This could also explain why anthropologists and other scientists are hesitant to pursue further research into genetic studies of African archaic admixture. The left will continue to rant and rave against biological race realism. Professor Rutherford will keep writing books and lecturing starry-eyed college leftists on how right-wingers who support a biological basis for race are evil racists. But we will continue to expose the left, all their biases and hypocrisies on human evolution matters here at Right-Anthro. Thank you for watching. Please pass this video on to others. We shall see you soon.